want a better life for my family. What's next?
I'm looking to better my career. What's next?
I just graduated from high school. What's next?
I dropped out of high school. What's next?
I'm the first in my family to go to college. What's next?
I just lost my job. What's next?
I just got out of the military. What's next?
I've just been released from prison. What's next?
I don't know what's next for me.
Don't know what's next for you? Join me, Dr. Renee Cintron, on the What's Next Louisiana podcast and discover the possibilities with Louisiana's community and technical colleges.
Welcome to the What's Next Louisiana podcast. My name is Renee Cintron, and I'm here with a special episode for you to talk about women in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. The purpose of our episode is always to inform and inspire. I'm going to repeat that. The purpose of our podcast is to inform and inspire. And if you're looking for a change in career or trying to learn more about what career options are available across the state, this is the podcast for you. With me today, I'm delighted to be accompanied by a stellar group of leaders across their community, across the state. And I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves as I call on them. Tell me a little bit about you, tell me what you do, and we'll get into the impact that women in STEM have and how important it is to promote STEM in our community, especially for women. Dawn Saucier, learning leader at Dow Chemical. Welcome.
Hi, Renee. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. So I am Dawn Saucier. I am the learning leader at Dow Louisiana Operations in our hydrocarbons plant. And so I wear a few hats there, working on rebuilding and improving our training program. But more importantly, I am a champion for women in STEM. And so I try to lend my voice to promote women, to mentor young women coming into a male-dominated field. And so I am super excited, again, just to be here and to be amongst these great educators and our student and just learn what's happening with the college and talk about some workforce.
Thank you, Dawn. It's really nice to have such a partner in you with us here. And I'm going to introduce our next panelist, Dr. Darcy Becks, who's the Dean of STEM, and you're also the interim Vice Chancellor of Academic and Student Affairs. I don't want to, forget to mention that additional role that you have at your institution at South Louisiana Community College. Darcy, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Renee. Yes, it's a pleasure and honor to be here to speak with all of these women today. And I am the Dean of STEM, Transportation and Energy at South Louisiana Community College, and am also, as you mentioned, the interim Vice Chancellor of Academic and Student Affairs. And I've just always have loved math, and I had great math teachers growing up. So that's where my inspiration came from in the very beginning in junior high and high school. And so that's why I chose to do the math education, because I also was one of those kind of nerdy. I liked school, actually enjoyed school. So became a math teacher first and then moved to the community college and fell in love with its mission. So I've been here ever since.
Great. Thank you, Darcy, for that introduction. Tanja sent Julien, who is also with South Louisiana Community College. She is the division chair of STEM.
Hi, Renee. Thank you. I've been here at South Louisiana Community College for the past 16 years. I serve as a professor in our industrial electronics technology program. And as you said, I serve as the division chair of STEM, transportation, and energy. So my love for engineering came even as young as elementary and middle school. I love putting things together and designing things. And I guess it just kicked off from there.
That's great, Tanya. Thank you for that. I really appreciate your insight. And we have one more panelist here, a student of industrial technology. Jasmine, how are you?
As Mr. Renee stated, my name is Jasmine Malveaux. I am currently enrolled at South Louisiana Community College. I'm currently a student in industrial technology. I don't know, my love for, I guess, STEM, as we call it, it always existed. like it started off in math class, love math, love numbers. Then that just kind of transitioned into me wanting to do anything like STEM related. And then it's kind of funny because going into a major where females are rarely seen, it could be nerve wracking. It really can. But I decided that I'm going to transition. As you stated, the podcast is for transition. I'm transitioning from a nursing background into something that I know I'm going to love. So that's kind of my background.
That's super interesting that you're switching from a female-dominated field to a male-dominated field, and you mentioned it yourself how there's not that many women in your courses in industrial technology. And I want to get into a little bit more of that as we explore the importance of STEM, especially women in the fields of STEM. But before we continue with the panel, let's go to our sponsor and listen to a message from our sponsor.
Delgado Community College is ready to welcome you.
Ready means that staff who work directly with students, practice social distancing, and make sure our public areas are configured to keep everyone safe.
Ready means offering fall classes in formats that limit in-person, face-to-face contact. Our new class formats will always keep you in touch with your instructor.
We're Delgado Community College.
And we're ready.
Welcome back. We're here with an excellent group of women leaders from across the state. And I want to ask, what is the significance of women in STEM? Why are we having this discussion here today? And I want to ask you specifically about STEM. I know this is International Women's Month, and we're having this episode to celebrate women, and we selected women in STEM as part of that celebration. But what's so significant about this topic? And I want to start with Dawn.
Thanks, Renee. You know, when I'm sitting here thinking about STEM in general over the last 20 years or so, right? Dow has always been a big supporter of the system of LCTCS, dating back to when we first started out promoting the PTech degree, the Associates of Applied Science. And so as we're making that trend upwards in promoting women in STEM, we still have a ways to go, right? But when I think about the significance, and so bear with me here because I saw this morning. Over the last year, when I look at the role models who have emerged, and look, those role models have always been there. They're just now getting the recognition they deserve, in my opinion. And so when I look at those female role models across the board, the doctors and the nurses and the researchers and the women in technology, it's time. It's time for those women to get the recognition. It's time for us to recognize them as women, as those role models for our younger generation.
So we're talking about the significance of women in STEM. And as you teach classes and schedule courses, Tanya, I'm going to you on this. You know, you're at South Louisiana Community College and you're scheduling classes for various programs, and Jasmine is in one of those, industrial technology. But why is it important to promote the field of STEM, all the different fields that are inside STEM, engineering, industrial, process technology, you know, all of those fields that are part of it? What's the significance to promote those type of fields to women in our communities and our state and our country and our world, really?
So to answer your question, Renee, I'll kind of take myself for a little bit. So I didn't start out as a teacher. So I've been teaching for the past 16 years, but I worked in the industry about 12 years before that. So seeing that it wasn't a lot of promotion for women in what was called male-dominated fields, but as I would get on jobs in the industry, I'd start maybe with males training me or supervising me, but then I always ended up surpassing. And I think it's just putting that even into our students now, seeing the creativity in females and the passion that they have when they apply their talents and skills, whether it's science or math, seeing that even on the engineering side, you still need that science and math. So if you're interested in that, then you probably would do well. Just as Jasmine's saying, she's done nursing and that's a great field financially, but she feels more drawn now to something on the engineering side. So being able to, you know, advertise that to our younger generation of females, and also those who want to make those transitions, letting them know that, hey, there doesn't need to be any more barriers. We're part of this. Most significant thing to me is the process now of changing the world's view that it doesn't have to be male dominated anymore. Women can do jobs that it should be for male or female.
That's absolutely correct. I mean, I'm a dad of 3 daughters, and my youngest is 18. And just to see what the future holds for them as they grow up into their own person, is just incredible. So I appreciate you pointing that out, that it's not a male-female field, it's a field, but we need to elevate it in a way to include more people that are inspirational to us. So Jasmine, I want to turn to you as a student in STEM. What should people know about STEM? What attracted you to go into industrial technology?
Well, when I first graduated, I graduated like 10 years ago, so from high school. So when I initially graduated from high school, I was going to school at University of Louisiana at Lafayette. And then, life happened. So I had to kind of take a few steps back. I had to regroup, regather myself, re-identify myself, right? Then I went into nursing. Cool. I'm in nursing for 4 years now, and it's still a passion. Even with me having, a well-to-do job, it's not enough. It doesn't spark fire in me. It does nothing for me. Now, it doesn't determine how I am as a nurse. I just kind of want to go back to what I want. I've always had a passion for STEM. Always have. I've been a part of STEM programs at UL. It's just something about STEM that just brings so much joy to me. Now, even as a student, I find that me even being surrounded around a bunch of males, as if they think I don't know how to put it. I guess they think I'm girl, not even so much girl. They treat me like a delicate flower. That's the best way I could put it. And I'm not no flower. In my mind, I'm a tiger in the jungle, right? So it's different. It's very, very different. I think now they coming around to see that, oh, she's not just a girl. I'm not just a girl. It's more to it than me having this this idea of what a female should do. And I guess even in today's world, women are known from way back in the day to we're supposed to be household people, take care of the house. That we are transitioning out of that, and women are entering the field where we are powerful. We can be dominant too. So it's interesting, I would say, to go study of major was predominantly males. And I only seen maybe 3 other females thus far in my major. And that's crazy to me, because I feel more females should jump into something. Go against the norm. Nothing's wrong with it. Find yourself.
Absolutely. And I think the official hashtag of this episode is Tiger in the Jungle. Thank you for bringing that, because it's true. I mean, you've described yourself as many of other students that we have, adult learners who have been out of high school for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and are entering and rediscovering themselves. And for you to rediscover yourself and find yourself in different career paths and recognizing what your passion is, it's incredible. And I really appreciate you sharing that. So Dawn, Jasmine is going to continue her industrial technology program here, and she's going to end up in a career in that field, which is what Dow Chemical is. That you have STEM fields and career opportunities there. What would you recommend to Jasmine as she continues her progression and her studies?
Jasmine, I would say to you, own that jungle. You are I can't, when you said that, I was sitting over here thinking, yes, we're going to do hashtag Tiger in the Jungle. Because you're right. women, especially in male dominated fields, when I think about how we are building this diverse workforce and why we need women, because women bring those aspects, those skills to the table that we don't always have when everybody looks the same, right? That creativity, the detail oriented pieces. And it just helps us with gender balance. Women also bring to the table, and I know this makes people uncomfortable, but they bring that human element to the table, right? And people get so wrapped up that, oh, it's emotions. But no, at the end of the day, all of our careers are about people. It's who we interact with. And so, Jasmine, I will tell you, it's not always easy being in a male dominated field, but my best piece of advice to you is build a support network of both male and female. Find your champions and let them lift you up. That would be my best advice to you.
Thank you for that, Dawn. Jasmine, go ahead.
Oh no, just tell them it's done. Thank you so much. Like, just me even being on a podcast with you guys is like amazing. Like, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And like, here I am. And I'm like, wow. So I'm taking some motivation out of today. Believe it. So thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine, for that. I don't think any of us knew what we were getting into when we logged in here a few minutes ago. So it's great to be surrounded by such inspirational people as you are, and women leaders in our communities. I want to ask Darcy about that, about being a women leader in your community. I mean, in your college and in the state here. I know you attend a lot of statewide meetings, but tell me a little bit more about that experience, and what would you recommend other women who are looking into the path of leadership, or may not be even looking into the path of leadership and end up getting there?
Well, one of the areas that I'm passionate about and that I so thoroughly enjoy is watching other people succeed. So I love lifting up and getting folks to step out of their comfort zone. And one of the things when you're, especially with women, and, instead of walking into a meeting full of men and thinking, oh, geez, I'm the only woman in here. No, I'm the only woman in here. And so it's an attitude that I have a lot to say, and you can contribute to the conversation just like everyone else. So a lot of it is about confidence in yourself and your skill set, which is great. And that is something that needs to be portrayed. But I really enjoy the leadership role and working with all of the wonderful minds and the contributions that women bring to the table, and seeing the banter go back and forth, which is great as well. And that's really something that I enjoy.
Thank you, Darcy. Dawn, anything to add there?
Darcy, you were like singing to my soul. I will always say that part of what I love about what I do and why I feel so passionate about women in STEM is because I love finding opportunities for other people to excel. Like, that is my love language, right? That is what makes me get up every day and meet with, I shared this earlier, we have about 15 female operators on our site, and we have myself and a partner in HR created a network for those women, because they do face some different challenges than our male operators do. And so giving them those opportunities and coaching, and it just makes my heart sing. Like, that is, at the end of the day, Jasmine, that's the people those are the people within your jungle you have to go find. Those are the women who are going to make you successful. I feel like I have a vested interest in Jasmine now.
We're all definitely connected, and you have the same interest in STEM. One's studying, one's leading it, and there's definitely a connection there. Speaking of leading and women leaders, we have a special message from other women leaders across the state.
Hi, I'm Kim Hunter-Reed, Commissioner of Higher Education, and I am delighted to join the entire nation, the entire world, in saying Happy Women's History Month, especially to those women who are pursuing STEM careers. We know that every job in the future could be a STEM job, and we know that women bring important leadership to every role. So think about it. Non-traditional jobs were places where perhaps women wouldn't venture. But because some women have done it and done it so well, other women and girls have said, I can do it too. And that's what this month is about. In all of the months that we recognize women who are trailblazing, who are breaking glass ceilings, who are inspiring, who are improving our world. Women make a difference. Women rock. And to our young girls and to our college students and our faculty who are in STEM and who are promoting STEM, we thank you. There's a world out there for our young girls to explore, and we know STEM is an important part of it. Enjoy this Women's History Month, and congratulations to all of those participating in tonight's program.
Hello from St. Bernard Parish. I'm Dr. Tina Tinney, Chancellor of Next Community College. And long before I became a college administrator, I was a biology teacher, trained to rely on the scientific method. As I progressed through my career, my concentration shifted to educational administration. But I never stopped relying on the principles of empirical research and critical thinking that guided me as a science teacher. And that's why I'm confident when I say that for women, choosing a career in science, technology, engineering, and math isn't limiting, it's liberating. And education in STEM provides a foundation where women can observe the world around them and choose to go in whatever direction they wish.
And we're back with an excellent panel here. Jasmine is a student of industrial technology at South Louisiana Community College. And I want to ask you about, where are you in the program? What are the things that you're studying? What is industrial technology?
So right now, I am in my last year. I'm projected to graduate fall 2021. I cannot wait. This semester, I'm currently taking trigonometry, carpentry, CAD, and safety. Oh, God. So far, it's been good. I have some amazing teachers. I cannot thank them enough. Then I got lost. What was the question?
Tell me about your program. What kind of courses? You mentioned the courses already. What else is there in the industrial technology program?
I don't know. I kind of look at industrial technology as a very broad field. I don't have to just do carpentry. I can go into the plant. I can go into robotics. I can go into electronics. It's very broad. So at the end of the day, I know that's always going to have something available for me. I guess by the time I'm done with my degree, I don't know what I'm going to have the most passion for. Because now I'm going into industrial technology. I know it was like under the engineering hat. So love it. Cool, right? But then I'm into it and I'm studying it, and then I'm learning I'm learning something new to add under my little hat every day. So it's more so, it's so much I find industrial technology offers so much. It's almost like the water that just don't run, the well that just don't run dry, right? So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what my plans is. My ultimate plan, though, I would love to go work in a plant. I would love to go analyze data. I would love to go do something fun. Besides, as I say, past medicine, kind of want something different for myself.
Well, you got me at data and fun. Because for those of you that know me, that's the two things that go hand in hand in my life.
See?
We definitely have something in common there with data and fun. And I think you're right. I mean, the program that you're studying is one that can take you anywhere. And you hit it right on it to find the passion and find something that you're going to enjoy doing. And the fun part of the work is critical. And I know that there's many other programs out there besides the industrial technology. So I want to ask Tanya, about the other programs in STEM in your division that you chair there at South Louisiana Community College. What are some of the other programs available in STEM?
Okay, so we have about 8 other applied engineering programs. So we have aviation maintenance technology, and those particular students learn how to work on airplane engines. We have civil surveying and mapping, so that's the land survey side. We have drafting and design technology, which you become a draftsperson. We have industrial electronics technology, one that I teach in, so you become an electronic technician. We have industrial marine electronics. So it is electronics and it is industrial, but the marine part is more on ships and boats, anything dealing with marine, the electronics on those type of platforms. We have non-destructive testing, otherwise acronym NDT. So they basically do the testing and x-raying of piping and different offshore and onshore systems to ensure safety. Let's see, I think I named them all. That should be it.
Yeah, thank you for that. And how would somebody that's interested into everything that you just listed off would find out more information?
So basically our homepage is solacc.edu. And if you look under academics, it's programs by campus because we're a 10 campus wide region. So not all programs are offered at all campuses. So you can do programs by campus, or if you just do programs offered, it'll list the individual programs. And from there, you can click on it and it'll tell you what type of courses you take. It'll give you email and phone number information for instructors or our admissions team. So again, that was www.solacc.edu.
Thank you for that. And for those of you who you can follow the same instructions there by going to lctcs.edu and then finding the college of your liking, Delgado Community College in the New Orleans region. You have Louisiana Delta Community College in the Northeast part of the state. And we have campuses and colleges all over the state. Thank you for giving that description on how to find more about your programs. I really appreciate that. Dawn, you heard Tanya list off a whole bunch of things there, robotics, and a whole bunch of non-destructive testing among one of them. Any of those tell me how they relate to your work at Dow.
So the robotics piece is very interesting, right? So a little backstory on that is Dow also has a global partnership with First Robotics, which is a K through 12 program. And we've promoted that based from the students who are participating in those robotic builds possess some skills that we need across the board. And as our technology is changing, and look, we're a massive chemical company and it takes a long time to get technology moving, right? Just when we think we've caught up and we've implemented it across, something new has come out. So as technology is changing, students who embrace that change and who are tech savvy, even in our engineering space, especially those students who are focused in engineering, all of that, those skills are transferable. And so I thought it was interesting when Jasmine was talking about the list of things. I mean, it's just an array of things that she's learned. And I thought even most importantly too, is that course has to also teach you what you don't like as well, which is even more important, right? Figuring out what you don't want to do. But those are, when as Tanya was listing those off, I was thinking, yeah, that would work. Yeah, that skill would transfer. When you talked about the data piece, Renee, when you were talking about data and analyzing in our labs. So there are a lot of transferable skills that we look at within degrees. So those courses that students take and how do they transfer well into the workforce that we're looking for.
Excellent. Thank you, Dawn, because I wanted to make the connection there between the programs, the student, the programs, and the company, eventually that will be working or they could be working with. Darcy, I know you want to add to this because you see it not just at the division, but you see it at the college-wide level. So anything to add to the conversation?
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things, I was in a meeting with other educators, and each group, we were several groups, and we were assigned to list what we thought were our STEM programs. And it was interesting to see from an org chart standpoint, these are the programs within our STEM division, but that's not all of the STEM programs we offer. It was so much easier the list was much shorter to say what is not STEM, because it included, and different folks had different opinions on if some program was STEM or not. And so, information technology, application software development, some of the other ones are heating and electrical, diesel powered, automotive mechanic technicians. We have oil and gas, welding, all of those are in the STEM fields as well that are offered at our college.
Thank you, Darcy. You bring up that great point of that I didn't even catch it, right? When I asked Tanya to list off what's in her program because she's the chair of STEM. But the fact is that there are other things that fall beyond a particular division of STEM. So thank you for catching that and bringing that up to our attention. I want to ask you to give us some advice that you would have to women who want to lead. I know I asked you that a little bit earlier, but specific, where to go, what to do, how to get it done. I know Dawn gave some advice to Jasmine about her network. Anything else that you would want to add to that piece?
Yes, and I would agree with Dawn. Having a support system is huge, and being able to step out of your comfort zone. So for any females at any age, if it's kindergarten, middle school, high school, college, if it's something that you find yourself drawn to, don't be afraid to go after it, because you don't know what you don't know. And so we all just have to step out and say, okay, I got this. I can handle this. This is great. And then you just take those little baby steps, one thing at a time. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. And so that's the whole point of going into a field. And like you said, you're figuring out what you like and what you don't like. So then as those doors start opening, you take advantage of those, but don't be afraid to step out. Just have that confidence knowing that you've got this, and find your support system along the way.
Thank you. Thank you for that. The support system, the support network, and self-determination, I think those two combined can get you a long way. Dawn, I want to turn to you.
Yeah, just what Darcy was saying, look, I will tell you, I have, and I don't know if the other women on the panel have had it. I've had imposter syndrome sometimes. Some days I get up and I doubt my ability, and I just doubt myself, right? And so what I've learned is sometimes I just have to embrace that side of me. And sometimes I just adopt the whole, I'm going to fake it till I make it. And if I am confident in what I do, others will follow, right? And so especially walking into a room filled with men who may not recognize me for who I am or what my ability is. Sometimes you have to be a little bit more vocal, and you have to stand by some of your decisions and the things that you say. But I will say again, for women who are listening, for you again, Jasmine, you just have to build a network of women. I call them my board of directors, and I have women from all ages, all different backgrounds, education. I even have some men on my board of directors, and those are the people who keep me real for when I do have that imposter syndrome feeling, or I'm just overwhelmed. I reach out to my board of directors, and I'm like, y'all just tell me, am I crazy? Because if I'm crazy, I'm crazy, right? And normally you get, well, you are a little crazy, but they validate me. And so sometimes we need that boost. So that's what I wanted to add, because I think that's just so important. And we don't teach those things, right? That it's those unwritten rules that women have to navigate through the workforce that nobody really comes out and tells you about.
Sure, elevating that support network to an actual board of directors of people who are there to guide you. Great point. I think that's very important. I'm going to take a quick break to listen to another sponsor, a message from a sponsor. When we come back, I'm going to ask Jasmine if she has any questions for the women leaders that are here in the panel. So we'll be right back after these messages.
North Shore Technical Community College, recently named as one of the nation's fastest growing community colleges, delivers demand-driven training programs and robust business and industry partnerships, with a college mission centered on workforce training, global competitiveness, and academic transfer. Opportunities abound when you enroll. Come build your future at North Shore Technical Community College.
All right, and we're back. Jasmine, I want to turn to you. Do you have any question you want to ask anyone here on the panel?
I guess I'll make it a broad question to each one of you ladies. what is the hardest barrier that you find or have found that you had to kind of overcome?
So we'll start with Darcy, and then we'll go.
I'll go first. And I think Dawn hit upon this a little bit, is sometimes our greatest enemy is ourself. And that sometimes is the biggest barrier, because you see these opportunities and you're not sure. We all do it. I don't know if I can do this or not, or I don't know anything about that, but it's having that, don't second guess yourself. We just prepare and move forward. But I think sometimes that's ourselves, we're our own worst enemy. And so overcoming that piece, because we all, deal with self-image and just, confidence at some point. And so really trying to stick true to who we are.
Jasmine, I would say my hardest thing, especially when I was in school, was for STEM fields on the engineering side. A lot of times, some of the males that you're in class with may have a father or someone who was able to hire them in the field already. So their knowledge may be a little bit more than me at the time. So I had to overcome that. Just because you don't know something today doesn't mean that you can't learn it, or just because other people catch on faster, that's okay. You have to keep at it and find your own way. Like we said, own that tiger of the jungle. So you may hit some roadblocks and some walls, but you just have to keep at it. Find what works for you in your learning journey.
Jasmine, I would say I had to get over myself. I mean, like Darcy said, sometimes we're our own worst enemy. I took this role in April of last year. And after I took it, it was almost like buyer's remorse. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? I don't even know what these words mean. I drew a complete blank. I couldn't even tell you what training meant. I have been in education for a very long time. And I was just like, what do they expect from me? And once I went to my first leadership meeting, and I was like, they're listening. And oh, that did sound good. Oh, hey, I do know what I'm talking about. But I had to mentally give myself this pep talk outside the door, because I just had to get over myself. And I will tell you, I've been in the workforce for 30 years, and it doesn't come naturally, and it's still a struggle. But I think, like Tanya said and Darcy said, it's also learning to be comfortable in your own skin. Bringing your whole self to work or to wherever you go. And girl, owning the jungle. I mean, that is the key there.
Well, thank y'all.
Jasmine, any other questions for the panelists?
No, but this is more so for, I guess, our listeners. As every one of these ladies stated, that, it is overcoming yourself, because even me, I found myself, after I had went through my first semester, while I was in my first semester, I had to have the conversation, the prep talk, the boost myself up moment, to where I was like, okay, Jess, you switching your career. What you doing? Right? Then I had to be like, well, Jess, you didn't know how to be a nurse, but you learned it. So it goes the same, like, Jess, you don't know how to be in industrial technology, but you're going to learn it. You have to take it one step at a time. Like she said, you're not going to learn everything all at once. Completely understandable. So I will learn how to I will own my jungle. I will make it the best little place. I will jazz it up, make it fun. Thank y'all so much for that.
Thanks, Jasmine. I keep going back to your comment, be the tiger in the jungle. I think that I'm going to keep that, if it's okay with you, for a while. I always ask the panel before we go, what's next? What's next for you personally, professionally? It could be that's dinner tonight, whatever. What's next? So we'll start with you, Tanya. What's next for you?
So what's next for Tanya is just, a big thing for me, a big passion is to continue trying to engage more females in our STEM programs, just out in the community, not just locally into the college. And, looking along, moving up the lines of administration. So people say, Tanya, what would make you want to leave the classroom and, become a chair or a dean? Because I know at that level, I could do more for all of our students, male or female, and definitely developing more programs in the community that'll give, others an opportunity to see, is this a field for me? Whether it's more STEM camps, just like I said, connecting with our younger generation, as well as our older generation, our adult learners, to help them find, if STEM is the area for them, and give them some resources, anything that may be a barrier for them.
I love the fact that you brought up the barriers, right? I mean, it's part of our job as educators, whatever level we're in, to remove the barriers, to make sure that the environment is one in which people can be successful. So thank you for adding that, Tanya. Darcy, what's next?
Well, I have a big interview coming up in the next month or so. So my interim vice chancellor role is being advertised. So that will be my next challenge, to apply for that position. And it's a national search. So we'll see how that falls through. And hopefully, fingers crossed, everything will go well there, just to continue moving forward with everything. And I also want to give Tanya kudos, because she is also working on her doctorate degree. So in the midst of doing all of this, she is continuing her education, which is a difficult task, and raising her children. And it's so she's doing a fantastic job here too. So that's kind of what's next for me.
Well, good luck, Darcy, in your interview coming up, and thanks for bringing up that Tanya is studying to earn her doctorate, because that's a lot of work. So congratulations to you both on your journey. Dawn, what's next for you?
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting! Good luck, Darcy. Congratulations, Tanya. I mean, that's a lot. Next, professionally, continue to be a voice for STEM, for women in STEM. I'm rebuilding and improving on a training program that has been in place for many, many years, to help eliminate some of those barriers, biases. And personally, because I don't have enough to do, obviously, in my life, I am converting a couple of acres on our property into a flower farm. So, you just, again, you don't know until you get to whatever age, and then you just keep growing, right? So, pardon the pun. But so I think I'm looking forward to the rest of this year.
Excellent. Thanks, Dawn. I was going to call you out on that pun if you didn't make a comment of it, because I love them, Jasmine, leaving you to have the last word here on what's next. I know you're completing your program soon. Kudos, it's exciting. But what's next for Jasmine?
What's next for me is, I guess, to try to maneuver through the barriers that I may come across, I may not come across. Who knows? I don't know. I guess finding myself in a new industry that that I would have never believed I would have been able to, go after, because anxiety is there, the thought of me switching over, a lot of things. So my what's next is me rediscovering myself, regrounding myself, planting a new flower in a new field. So that's what's going to be what's next for me.
Thank you. And I can't wait to see how your journey progresses as you move through the next class, the graduation, finding the industry, finding the place, and growing yourself. That's exciting, and I'm excited for you. Thank you all very much, four of you, for taking the time to be part of this. It means a lot to me that you stepped away from everything that you're doing. Jasmine, you stepped away from class to come and talk with us and give advice and ask for advice. That was great. So in this episode, we had Dawn Saucier, learning leader with Dow, Tanya Julien, division chair of STEM at South Louisiana Community College, Dr. Darcy Becks, dean of STEM at South Louisiana Community College, and Jasmine Malveaux, student of industrial technology, also at South Louisiana Community College. And my name is Julien, and this is the What's Next Louisiana podcast.
Before we wrap things up, we want to take the time at the end of each episode to answer some questions from our listeners. If you have a question you would like us to answer, email us whatsnextlouisiana@lctcs.edu. You can visit us online at lctcs.edu/whatsnextla or tweet us at GoLCTCS. A special thanks to the What's Next Louisiana podcast team: Aquina Grant, LCTCS Director of Communications. Landon Corbin, LCTCS Coordinator of Digital Outreach. April Smith, North Shore Technical Community College, Livingston Campus Dean. Jason Leader, Nunes Community College, Director of Communications. Darian Atkins, Louisiana Delta Community College, Director of Community and Public Relations. Until next time, I'm Dr. Renee Cintron asking you, what's next, Louisiana?